said a lot there, which was that Lion King was a very important film and an important story, and very important for Disney, and very important for anybody who grew up with it. And so my biggest job was to protect the movie, was to make sure that it kept the same spirit, the same heart. I think it's a message that worked really well in the 90s when it came out, and I feel like it works even better now. And the idea of the circle of life, of shared responsibility, shared community, that we're all connected. And I feel like it's a message that for this generation of children, to make it exciting for them, as it was exciting for us who saw it as an animated film or as a musical on stage, I wanted to breathe more life into it so that the message kept going. And so most of the job and most of what we talked about was how do we use the newest technology to help keep the same spirit of the old one. And we had to fulfill everybody's expectations of what they want to see in the old one, but we also wanted to surprise them with new things. And that just took a lot of hard work and innovation. And thankfully Disney felt the same way, that it was a very important property. And everybody who worked on it grew up with it. And so we had younger people with their perspective, we had older people like me with my perspective, and you've seen some of it already. A lot of care and craftsmanship went into it to try to help protect and preserve that beautiful story.
Siguiente pregunta. ¿Nos podrías dar tu nombre y el medio, por favor?
¿Se escucha ahí? Sí. Andrés Medina, Spoiler Time. Gracias por estar aquí.
Well, first of all, what's nice about a film like Lion King is everybody who's involved with it wants to be involved with Lion King. So the movie's bigger than any of us, you know, and so we all want to serve that movie. We're not inventing something new. We're there to help preserve and support a new interpretation. What's also nice about this process is when I'm working with the actors, unlike a regular film, I'm focused completely on the actors because there's no lights, there's no cameras, it's just them. It's their voices, and it's me working with them and having them improvise, try new things. I'm very open to collaboration, as long as it fits within the story. And then once I get the performance, they go away, and then I work with the technology and with the you know, cinematographers and the editors and the CGI artists. And so it just takes a very long time, but you get to actually attend to each aspect of it. And that's why it took 3 years to do this. But it has been, the challenges have been, you know, significant, because we're trying to present new visuals that nobody's seen before. But that doesn't mean that it's not enjoyable. When you challenge yourself and you break through and try new things and you get to see it for the first time, and you see a new simulation, or the way fur is rendered, and it looks better than you've ever seen it before, you get so excited because you know someday you'll get to share it with an audience. And the actors get to see the renders, and they get excited, and that changes how they want to perform it. And so it becomes a big collaboration. What it really looks like. And when everybody gets to study the real thing, it makes it more accurate and authentic when you create the fake version. And I think, you know, movies are really magic tricks. And so the magic trick of this movie was to take something that was done using animation techniques and make it appear as though it was just being photographed. And that required mostly the people working on the technology side to go and take hundreds of thousands of photographs and to film reference and to look at the real thing next to what we were creating. But every shot in the movie, I'm sorry, there's one shot that's not animated. There's one real shot in the whole movie that I put in. So there's 1,400 fake shots and one real one, just to see if anybody could pick it out. But I'm not going to say.
Just give us a hint.
I want people to guess.
Just a hint.
So the idea is that every single rock, every single blade of grass, the water, the sky, everything was made by artists. And when artists, just like when you go to the museum and you look at a great painter, when they can depict something that's rendered so realistically that you think it's real, to me that's a pinnacle of an artist's ability. And so to have all of these people who've worked in the movies for so long sitting and trying to make, you know, each hair on Rafiki's head and the way his eyes move and the light hits him. When we did our first tests And we would compare it to, what you do is you take a real animal and the animators study every little movement, and then they translate it to their animation rig. And so it really becomes a discipline of observation. And to me, that's part of what's so beautiful about this movie, is the way that the artists have really found the subtlety of naturalism that's so hard to achieve.
And during your experience or your trip to Africa, well, we know you love food. You're a foodie.
Yes.
So what was the most delicious dish that you ever tried? And how could you compare it as in Mexican's culture or not? There's a comparison.
Well, I live in Los Angeles, so I have a lot of knowledge about Mexican cuisine. I've lived there for 20 years, and it's very interesting comparing the food there to the food here. I haven't had your al pastor tacos yet. I will have them in about 2 hours. They're coming to here to me. But to me, the food here is some of my favorite. I can't sit back because my belly's full of chilaquiles from breakfast. and I ate at Contramar last night. There's amazing seafood here. But all of my chef friends, I met a lot of chef friends because I made a chef movie. When I told them I was coming here, and I'm friends with Guillermo del Toro, and so I have a list of 20 restaurants, and I'm only here for 2 nights. So I have to eat a lot when I'm here every day to eat what's in the list. Yeah.
Okay.
They're the way we share information in a way that we can remember and relate to. And I think part of what drew me to this is that I love the message, especially you're talking about for millennials or for each generation that comes, is that the old people, they aren't going to be around forever. It's each generation has to step up and decide how to define the world, and sometimes you have to fight for it, and sometimes it's Hakuna Matata, right, where you shouldn't worry too much, but sometimes, like with Simba, it's time to step up and make sure that the world is the type of place that you want to live in, and that those who come after you. And I love the message that there's generations going back to the ancestors and the stars, down to Mufasa, to Simba, and ending with the next generation coming up, that it's a continuous cycle, and we have to play different roles in life as we hit different ages. And I think what was so nice about the original Lion King is it really tells that message gently and makes you feel it. But it's a story that has a lot of tragedy in it, but at the end of it, hopefully you feel uplifted. And that's another message, that life's not always happy, but the whole movie is. And I think it's a wonderful message for that. And I felt that when I saw the show, I felt that when I saw the movie, and hopefully if we've done our job, when you see this version, you'll feel that as well.
And what about Pharrell?
Pharrell's a genius.
Yeah.
Pharrell I met through Hans Zimmer, and they're an interesting pair because they come from such different backgrounds, but yet they share one creative mind when they collaborate. And Pharrell was wonderful because he comes in, and Hans Zimmer created the music for the first film, and so he has one perspective, and then Pharrell comes in as somebody who experienced the film as an audience member. But they're both such geniuses with music that them collaborating, it's interesting how they work together to one's an insider's perspective, one's an outsider's perspective, but both with tremendous care for the underlying